Shalom, welcome to the Forefront Radio. Welcome to the Forefront Radio. I'm your host, Afia Levi. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody is doing well. So we're going to get into a discussion today about breaking financial barriers. It's a very insightful conversation that many in our diaspora do not discuss. And it's imperative for us to understand the importance of breaking generational curses and disrupting the status quo. Meaning, we have to find a way to disrupt the generational curses impacting our people and break through the financial hindrances that are keeping us from benefiting our children's children. So we're going to start off first with the book of Job, chapter 27. Let's start at verse 13. It says, "This is the portion of the wicked man with God, and the heritage of oppressors, which they shall receive of the Almighty. If his children be multiplied, it is for the sword, and his offspring shall not be satisfied with bread. Those that remain of him shall be buried in his passing away, and his widow shall not weep. Though he heap up silver as the dust, and prepare raiment as the clay, he may prepare it, but the just shall put it on, and the innocent shall divide the silver." Meaning, the heritage of the wicked is that generational wealth will be extracted from the wicked and then given to the innocent, the righteous, showing you that the breaking of the generational curses of our people in our diaspora means that God himself would establish it where he takes wealth from the wicked and dispersed it to the just. A perfect example is the story of Egypt, where in Egypt, before the children of Israel escaped from their oppressor, many of the Egyptians decided to divulge their gold, their silver, their wealth to say, you know what, y'all need to get up out of the land. Go ahead and go. It got to the point where the people of the book, Shalom, so you hope you're doing well. It got to the point where the people of the book realized the importance of connecting with the Creator and that the generational wealth of the wicked went to God's people. From there, let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 30. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 30. Now, we're going to have an exciting discussion today where a brother is going to come up and discuss financial services and how we can do estate planning and various things of that nature. But let's get a solid biblical foundation first, and then we'll bring the brother up and have a discussion on how we can, break the generational curses and also inform our diaspora on how to establish a blessing for their children. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 30. Let's start at verse 7. It says, "And the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies and them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. And thou shalt return and obey the voice of the Lord, and do all his commandments, which I command thee this day. And the Lord thy God will make thee plenteous in every work of thine hand, in the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy land, for good. For the Lord will again rejoice over thee for good, as he rejoiced over your fathers." Notice what this is saying. This is telling us that the generational curses that impact our community in the diaspora, God will lift those curses off of us and place it to those that do not have our best interests at heart. Then it says, if we return and obey what? His commandments, his laws, his statutes, that he will make us plenteous in all that we do and rejoice over us as he rejoiced in our fathers. Shalom, so you hope you're doing well. From there, let's go to the book of Proverbs chapter 13, verse 22. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 13, verse 22. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 13. Moderators, if you would, please place the scriptures in the chat. Do me a favor, y'all. Tap the screen, get the likes up, share the room with at least 10 people. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 13. Proverbs chapter 13, and let's start at verse 22. It says, "A good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children." Listen to what the Bible is saying. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. So we in our diaspora community have to understand the correlation between keeping the commandments of the Most High and establishing an inheritance for our children's children. Now, this isn't just talking about financial resources, but much more than that. The blessing of the womb, the blessing of natural resources, the blessing of cattle, the blessing of all the wealth that's established on this earth will go to the righteous. Let's read it again. It says, "A good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children, and the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just." What does the Bible say? The wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just. From there, I see someone wants to come up. Give me one moment. We're going to finish discussing this matter, and then we'll bring guests up in a moment. I have a brother that is going to come up and discuss financial services. So we're going to finish with these scriptures first, and then we'll get into that discussion shortly. From there, let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 2, verse 26. Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 2, verse 26. It says, "For God gives to a man that is good in his sight, wisdom, and knowledge, and joy. But the sinner he gives travail, to gather and to heap up, that he may give to him that is good before God. This also is vanity and vexation of spirit." Meaning, those that are righteous, they're going to be good in the sight of God. Those that have the knowledge of God's laws, they're going to be good in the sight of God. But those that live lawless, those that live wicked, those that are in sin, the Bible says they're going to gather all their wealth and give it to him that is good before God. So the same parallel that we read about ancient Egypt giving their wealth to the children of Israel is the same thing. Where we see today, the financial markets of the world, of the Gentiles, are diminishing, but our people are starting to build themselves up over and over to get better and better and better. Think about how a group of people that have been colonized and enslaved are now at the point where they have thousands of dollars, millions of dollars, billions of dollars that they can access to help and benefit their children in their education, to benefit their families with medical expenses. These various things are done if we keep the commandments of God. God will bless us exponentially more in this world and in the world to come. Watch this. Let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 12. Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 12. It says, "For wisdom is a defense, and money is a defense. But the excellency of knowledge is that wisdom gives life to them that have it." So now, is this saying that we should love money? No, because we know that the love of money is the root of all evil, right? But this also tells us that wisdom is a defense and money is a defense. So when you're in hard times, money can help you. That's all that this is saying. Wisdom is a defense and money is a defense. So, for example, if you have children, you want to establish something like estate planning where you can get your children set for college expenses and future endeavors, right? Watch this. Let's go back. Proverbs chapter 13, verse 22. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, and the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just. Let's go back. Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 12. It says, wisdom is a defense, and money is a defense. But the excellency of knowledge is that wisdom gives life to them that have it. So if you didn't know, folks, ladies and gentlemen, wisdom is the keeping of God's commandments. That is the root of how we break generational curses. If we follow the ways of the Messiah and gain wisdom, understanding in the sight of all nations, God will assist us. Let's jump down to verse 14. It says, in the day of prosperity, be joyful, but in the day of adversity, consider. God also has set the one over against the other, to the end that man should find nothing after him. Meaning, in the days where things are well, be joyful. In the days where things are not going well, consider that God gives these things to man. Meaning what? You're going to have moments of peaks. You're going to have moments of valleys. You're going to have moments of abundance. You're going to have moments of lack. Throughout any experience that you have in this life, always understand to be content with what God gives you. Now, why is that important? It's important because when it comes to financial resources, people lose their mind when they lose access to a job, access to financial wealth, access to riches. Let's say if you're making well over 100K and you lose that. Would you be satisfied with 20K? Would you be satisfied with 50K? Would you be satisfied with not making ends meet? We have to have a thought process to say, no matter what situation we're in, we're always going to be content in the Most High. That's the point. From there, let's go to Numbers chapter 27, verse 8. Let's go to Numbers chapter 27, verse 8. Let's go to Numbers chapter 27, verse 8. Numbers 27, verse 8, and it reads, and thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel, saying, if a man pass away and have no son, then he shall cause his inheritance to pass unto his daughter. So in ancient times, during biblical times, our ancestors, when they had resources, they would leave it over to their son. But what would be the circumstance where you had resources available, but you didn't have a son to gain your inheritance? The law says that the inheritance that we have, we leave it over to the next of kin, which is the daughter, right? Verse 9, and if he have no daughter, then he shall give his inheritance unto his brethren. So if you don't have a son and if you don't have a daughter, then your next of kin, your brethren, your people, that's who you give your inheritance to. Watch this. Verse 10. And if he have no brethren, meaning he has no immediate family, then he shall give his inheritance unto his father's brethren, unto his father. So this is going into what? Our brother's going to come up and discuss this later on. This is going to go into estate planning. What many of our people have not been taught, especially in minority communities, is the importance of estate planning. Planning ahead just in case something happens to you where your family will be okay, where your children will be okay. Put a 1 in the chat if this makes sense. Put a 2 in the chat if you're confused. All right. Put a 1 in the chat if this makes sense. Put a 2 in the chat if you're confused. These matters are very important in these last days to discuss. All right. From there, let's go to the book of Numbers, chapter 32, verse 18. Let's go to Numbers, chapter 32, verse 18. It says, We will not return unto our houses until the children of Israel have inherited every man his inheritance. So what is this going into? This is going into the children of Reuben, Gad, and many of the northern kingdom of Israel that were already in their own land, right? And the other parts of the tribes did not have access to the land that they were acquiring in the land of Canaan. So they said, we're not going to go into our houses and establish ourselves until our people are established. So what does this show you? This shows you the mindset of unity. We in the diaspora, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans in our global diaspora must unify and work together, not as a religion, not as a demographic, but as a people to establish ourselves to have rulership and dominion over the planet. And we can't do it without assisting and helping one another. All right. From there, let's go to Proverbs chapter 13, verse 22 again. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 13, verse 22. This is the book of Proverbs chapter 13, verse 22. It says, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, and the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just. From there, let's go to 1 Ezra in the Apocrypha, chapter 8, verse 85. Let's go to 1 Ezra, chapter 8, verse 85. We're going to go to 1 Ezra, chapter 8, verse 85. And it reads, moreover, he shall never seek to have peace with them, that you may be strong, that you may be strong, that you may be strong, and eat the good things of the land, and that ye may leave the inheritance of the land unto your children forevermore. What is that showing us? We in the diaspora, we have to understand the importance of focusing on ourselves. A lot of times we try to establish the other nations and invest in the other nations, but our own children, we fail to set up an inheritance for them. We have an individualistic mindset where we think me, 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 me. But remember, a good man or woman will lay up an inheritance for their children's children. Very important to understand. From there, let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. So we're talking about today breaking financial barriers. Breaking financial barriers. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. It says, and it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high, above all nations of the earth. You see, God, his original plan for us was that we would be established to have rulership above all nations of the earth. Watch this. Let's jump down to verse 2. It says, and all these blessings shall overcome thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. So what is the contingency for us to acquire blessings? Obedience. That's how we break the generational curses impacting us. That's how we obtain prosperity in this world and in the world to come. It all starts with obedience. Let's jump down to verse 8. It says, the Lord shall command the blessing upon thee in thy storehouses and in all that thou settest thine hand unto, and he shall bless thee in the land which the Lord thy God gives thee. The Lord shall establish thee a holy people unto himself, as he has sworn thee, if thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord thy God, and walk in his ways. And all the people of the earth shall see that you are called by the name of the Lord, and they shall be afraid of you. And the Lord shall make you plenteous in goods, in fruit of the body, in the fruit of your cattle, and in the fruit of thy ground, in the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers. The Lord shall open unto thee his good treasure, the heaven, to give the rain unto thy land in his season, and to bless all the work of thine hand. And thou shalt lend unto many nations, and thou shalt not borrow. And the Lord shall make thee head and not the tail, and thou shalt be above only, and you shall not be beneath, in that you hearkened unto the commandments of the Lord thy God, which I command thee this day to observe and to do them. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all understand that. So to break financial barriers that we have, the first step is that we walk in obedience to the Creator. Once we walk in the obedience of the Creator, we will be able to understand the importance of developing generational wealth for our people and dismantling financial barriers. All right. So let's go ahead and bring up a guest to start off in our discussion. And we have a brother that's going to give a presentation on this matter. Welcome to the Forefront Radio, Irma. What's your question or comment?
Can you guys hear me?
Hello, family.
Shalom, Brother James. Yes, we can hear you, sis.
And then Irma is also going to be presenting with us as well. And we have one more sister that's coming up. Her name is Paula. I don't know if you see her request.
Have her hit the guest icon. Paula, if you're in the room, hit the guest icon and feel free to come up. Just click on where you see on the right side invite, and it should allow you to come up. All right. Let's see here. Paula. All right. Did you have any other presenter besides Paula and Irma?
No, that's it. This is the team for today. And great teaching, brother. Great teaching, going through the scriptures and presenting, what all the blessings that the Most High has in store for us, for those that keep the statutes and commandments. Those are the things aligned with the blessings of the Most High.
All praises to the Most High. All praises. So our brothers and the sisters are going to make a presentation, folks. Please feel free to jot down notes. Okay. Also, you understand that this is independent media that we cover here. So please show your support. This is a listener-supported podcast. The Forefront Radio was established for our community in the diaspora. So please contribute to our Cash App, which is APH. IELLEVI. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and mute my mic, brother. Y'all can start your presentation. Go ahead.
Thank you, brother. And throughout the presentation, if you want to bring a scripture, we would love to. If you want to support with more scriptures, we would love to always hear scriptures as we are presenting. I would love to also ask the audience to please like the live, share the live. You are about to receive a lot of good information. We're going to start with the basic information and we're going to build from there. This is very important to build a financial house, to build a secure house for you and your family and for your generations to come. As the brother was just reading, that a wise man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, not just to his children, but to his children's children. So it's generations to come there. Someone has to stand up and decide that they're going to change their generations to come. And of course, we start that with waking up, realizing who we are, realizing the commandments of the Most High are for us, and we start replacing the lies with the truth of the Father, to the truth of the Hamashiach, and start moving in a way there that is pleasing to the Father. So our job here today is to present information, to give you information where you can use and you can better your family. You can not just your immediate family, but your extended family, your friends, your coworkers. This is great information that we're going to give you. We are financial professionals, and our focus is in educating families. Our focus is educating individuals and families on how money works, how money operates. So that way, the hard work that you do, once you get compensated, that you know what is the best way to make your money work for you. The blessings given to you, that you can multiply and make it abundant in your hands, so then that you can be a blessing to your families and to others. So we are going to start with Paula, or actually Irma. She is going to start with our basic presentation, and she's going to go over how money works. That presentation is going to be a few minutes. It's not too long. And then if you have any questions, please add it in their comments, or you can leave it to their end of the presentation, where we're going to have open Q&As, and we can hopefully if the host want to bring other guests, we can dialogue with you as well. We can also give you a one-on-one presentation. So as we're speaking, I will put a form in the comments that you can complete, and then we can send you information as well and set up an appointment. You can also DM me your name, your email, and your phone number, and I will also send you an invite to our free workshops, or we send you also a free ebook, so you can start learning about how money works. And we also can set up a free personal financial strategy that also will help you understand where you are financially and how you can make changes to your life. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter if you have nothing at all, or if you're just working on building your family. This information works for everyone. We work with you anywhere that you are, and we help you go from there. What's important is to take the information and work on the information. Start working in your financial house, even if it's one step at a time. What's important is to start walking, start moving. That's the most important part. So Irma, are you ready? Do you have
Yes.
your presentation ready? If you want to share your
Yes.
screen
Yep.
to the forefront, do you want to put Irma in the big screen, please?
Yes. And then let me know how to access the
Okay.
camera so that I can start this slide.
No problem.
What you do is you want to click on your profile and then click on the camera. Once the camera pops up, then hit the save button, and then once I see your camera, then I'll switch it over to your screen.
Okay. I'm clicking on the camera. For some reason, it doesn't want to highlight. Yeah, we're working. Yeah, I can see. I'm in the profile and the settings, and it says you'll connect using audio only. So I'm not sure if that's on my end or if it's on the permissions end from the host.
Don't exit off of the screen.
Okay.
Don't exit off of the screen. So click on your profile and then turn your camera on. If you click on your screen, you should have a drop-down box that asks you to change the settings if you want to turn your microphone off or on, or if you want to turn your camera on.
Live access is needed.
Let me go to his settings right quick. I'm gonna move it off there.
Does it say live access needed?
Yes.
It says live access.
Okay. That means you haven't been on TikTok long enough to do TikTok live. That's why. So you can't do a video presentation, but you can do it through audio.
How about 3 years?
Yeah, you're definitely gonna do it through mine.
Okay, so
Hold on a second, I'll bring
you want to switch? Okay, all right, that's okay. We're going to improvise, and we're gonna do it through James
Okay.
camera. So, but anyway, I appreciate you having us on this platform. I am grateful, and I thank you for allowing us to share this information. Again, my name is Irma Banda Moore, and I, as a believer myself, I was so happy to hear the scriptures that you were pulling up, because a lot of times we don't connect money with scripture. And I don't think, we have this little stigma.
Did the audio just go out? Irma, are you still there?
Share what we have today.
There you are. Go ahead.
All right, thank you. All right, so you guys can see this screen that says Saving Your Future. Okay, you're able to see that, correct?
Yes.
Okay, all right, perfect. All right, so I'm going to dive into this. This is, we're titling this Saving Your Future. It's the basic principles of building a financial foundation. This is where we want to start, and we want to build on this. We may have an idea of how money works, but we don't really, we know what we know because it's what we do on a daily basis, but there's information out there that we don't know, and that's what we are wanting to cover. So we're going to start from the very basic principles of building a financial foundation. So we face many challenges, right? Some of the challenges that we face is that a lot of us are not interested in knowing about our financial future, and many times it's because we don't know information, we don't have the information. We get caught up working day after day. We go to work, we pay our bills. We get busy just working to pay our bills, and we don't have the time, or we can't, we're exhausted, and it's hard for us to look into our financial future. So we're not interested because it's not in the forefront of our minds at times. As we live paycheck to paycheck, it's very easy to get into debt. If we're living paycheck to paycheck and something unexpected happens, we have an unexpected expense, where do we run to get that extra money? We go to a credit card. And then before you know it, a month down the line, a year down the line, our debt increases gradually, slowly, because of all these unexpected things, because we're living paycheck to paycheck, and that also prevents us from having an emergency fund. If our car breaks down, we don't have that emergency fund, so we go into debt. Another challenge that we face is that we don't have goals, and sometimes we just don't think about those goals. We don't have financial goals because we're in this cycle of working to make ends meet. We do what we can, and a lot of times when we are making a little bit more money, we get excited about that and we start spending. Right? Our first thing is gratification. We want to feel like our hard-earned money, we're able to enjoy some of it. So we start creating a habit of also spending, and then it becomes a habit of where we start spending a lot more than what we should. And then another challenge is we don't have a budget. Many of us don't have a budget because, for various reasons. We don't know how to create a budget. We don't know how to stick to a budget. It's not one of the priorities. But I'm here to tell you that bad habits and poor decisions can add up, but we can make changes. We can make changes, and we can do better with what we have. So I'm going to ask you a question. What do the wealthy know that the rest of us do not? Well, that's what we're here to do, to give access, to give you guys access, give everyone access to the vehicles and the tools and the information that the wealthy have access to and have had for generations. So nowadays, people are living longer. And according to the U.S. Census Bureau, in 2023, males have a total life expectancy, or are living to the year of 77, or we're living to to 77 years of age. Females to 82 years of age. Well, it's projected that by 2060, women will be living longer. It's projected that we're going to be living till 86 years old. Our life expectancy is growing. Males are going from 77 years old to 82 years old. We are just living longer. And some of the challenges that we face in an aging world are lower birth rates. Families are not having as many children as they used to. There are more single parents. As we get older, we have increasing health concerns. Another challenge in an aging world is appropriate housing and supervision. As we're getting older, that becomes an issue. Transportation, mobility. How are we going to move around as we're getting older? Another challenge that we face is wealth transfer and health directives. Are we handling, or how are we handling giving family directives on what to do with our health when we can't make those decisions? And another challenge is financial security. Social Security is always been a topic of uncertainty. Is it going to last? Is it not going to last? Savings and taxes, all these things are challenges that we face, and we're going to continue to face as we get older. So are we too busy during the first half of our lives to prepare for the second half? Let's ask ourselves that question. So in building a financial foundation, this is key. This is key to know how to build a solid financial foundation. We start with proper protection. Protection is, let me just give you an example. I feel like we all give such importance to our cars that we insure our cars, right? In case we get into an accident, then our car is protected. Our cell phones, we consider our cell phones to be so important in our everyday life that we have protection. We get an insurance for it in case it breaks, in case we lose it, it gets stolen. We buy protection for that cell phone. But we don't realize a lot of the times that we ourselves are the most valuable, and we need to be able to protect ourselves. We need to be able to consider ourselves so important that we need protection. The way that we protect our families is through protecting ourselves, our income, our health. We need to protect ourselves first. So that's very important. That's a very basic foundation. That's where we want to start. We want to start realizing how important we are in the equation of our families and consider ourselves first. The second layer of the foundation is debt management. Like I mentioned earlier, we get into debt very easily, and before you know it, years have gone by, and it's hard to get out of that debt. But when you make a decision to start making some changes in your future, in the financial future of your family, this is the foundation that you want to follow. Let's start chipping away at that debt. Debt management is the very second layer that we want to focus on. And then the emergency fund. We can obtain having an emergency fund so that if our car breaks down, an appliance breaks down in our home, we don't have to run to that credit card. We've got some cash set aside for that emergency. So ideally, we want to have an emergency fund set in place. And then investments. Of course, investments, in order for us to get to investments, we want to make sure that we take care of all these first three layers of the foundation. But the investment is what's going to help us in the future. That's what's going to help us in our older age. That's potentially where we're going to be able to leave a legacy to our future generations, to our kids, to our grandkids, to their kids. So we need to be able to start thinking into the future, not just in what we're doing today and how we're living today, right? We want to be able to reach those things and have goals towards the future. This is a financial foundation that applies to everyone. This is a financial foundation that we focus on and talk to families about. This is the proper way to build a financial foundation. So ideally, in proper protection, okay, what is a proper protection? How much protection should I have? Ideally, you should have 10 times your income. So that's how much protection is going to help your family. In the event that you're not there, then those responsibilities get taken care of. Debt management, we always want to have a goal of 0, right? And that's, again, this is a goal. You want to have a goal of 0 debt. How much emergency fund should I have set aside? Well, the recommendation is between 3 to 6 months or more if possible, but 3 to 6 months is ideal to have cash set aside for those emergencies when things break down. You have to pay a deductible, on a health situation with your health insurance. They're going to be looking for that deductible for sure to continue that care. And how much investment should I have? Well, it's recommended 20 times your income. So without a strong foundation, your financial house just won't stand. So I want to get into what we call the X-curve concept. The X-curve concept, it involves 2 curves that run at opposite directions during your lifetime. This concept is a simple way to show the relationship between taking care of your responsibilities and building your wealth. So the first curve is the blue curve. You saw that let me go back a minute. The curve starts at the top. It's the part of our lives where we take care of our families. It's when you have the responsibilities of children, of mortgage, of education, college, university savings. It's when we have the most debts. It's when we have the highest responsibility. That's the first part. It starts at the top. And as time goes on, ideally our responsibilities should go down, right? They should go down because our kids are growing up, they're done with college, our bills are getting paid. Ideally our mortgage is going down as well. So our responsibilities become less. The green curve now at this point is when we're taking care of ourselves. And that is when you start building up wealth. You start building up wealth so that you can take care of yourself and then take care of your family and your generations in the future. So in the first part of our lives, when we're taking care of our families, when we have the most responsibility, we have what's called the DIME method. The DIME method simply stands for debt, income, mortgage, and education. Those are like the biggest responsibilities that we have in the first part of our lives. And the dime method is what gives us what our insurable need is. That means the protection that we need to take care of these responsibilities in the event that we are no longer here, something happens, something unexpected. Those responsibilities are taken care of through this dime method with the insurable need that we determine, as we calculate this. We say, okay, how much debt do we have? We want to make sure that we calculate our income times 10. What is our mortgage balance? And then the cost of education for our children. And that's what gives us what our insurable need is. So if debt, let me just give you an illustration. So if you're in credit cards and loans and other debts, you have $50,000 that you're responsible for. Let's add that to this bucket. Income, if you're making $50,000 a year times 10 years, that's $500,000. I would say that your family would be taken care of with $500,000, right? They would not have to worry as much about what they're going to do, what's going to happen, the income that they're used to, the life that they're used to. That's going to put some peace of mind. They will not have to worry. The mortgage, let's say there's $200,000 left in the mortgage balance. Let's add that. So that gives us $750,000 so far. And education. If you have 2 kids, let's just use an example of a family with 2 kids, and assuming that it's $15,000 a year for a 4-year college for both children, that's about $120,000. So now we've got a total of $870,000 that you're responsible for in the first part of your life while you're taking care of your family. That's the amount that becomes the protection that you need. That's the insurable need, $870,000. So just, think about those numbers. Now, when our responsibilities start going down and our kids, they're off to college, they're getting married, they're off on their own. Like I said before, our debt decreases and our mortgage decreases. Now we're having less responsibilities, which is where now we're allocating money that we were paying before and all of our responsibilities. Now we're using that towards building wealth. To take care of ourselves, to take care of our children, or our generations, our future generation, leaving that generational wealth, which is obtainable. It is obtainable. So we use, in that second part of our lives, we use what's called the wealth formula. This is how this is what the ingredients are to build wealth in that second part of your life. First of all, the number one ingredient that you need is money. Well, hopefully we've reduced our debt, and hopefully, we're able to not have that the education expense any longer. So now we're shifting that money towards wealth. So you've got to have that money as ingredient number one. Time. You need time. You need time so that your money can grow over time. The third ingredient is a rate of return. So that is what's going to help your money grow. That is what makes your money work for you. We've got money, time, a rate of return, and now we have to take into consideration inflation and taxes, right? So we deduct those 2 things, and that's what gives us wealth. This is the formula for wealth. You may need 10 times your income to protect your family, and you may need 20 times your income to take care of your future retirement. That's the other formula that we use, the formula 10-20. Now I'm going to switch up a little bit and talk about debt. Debt is something that just prevents us from doing a lot of things, of fulfilling a lot of goals. And so let's talk about this for a minute. Think about it. Is debt affecting your way of life? Well, did you know that $100 a month can dramatically save time and reduce your debt? Well, let me show you how. So we love a system called debt stacking. Debt stacking. Debt stacking is basically where you take a list of all your credit cards and you organize them by your lowest balance and to the highest balance. If you want to get out of debt, you're going to find a way to add an extra $100 to this debt plan. So adding an extra $100 can mean, maybe you just have to cut back on that coffee once a week, twice a week. Maybe, you can just not make that, that shoe purchase at the store, at the mall. There are ways that we can look at what we have in our finances and manage to get an extra $100 just so that we can make progress on our debt. So let's say that we've done it. We've managed to find $100 extra, and you've got your list of credit cards. And you can see here, credit card number 1 has a balance of $150. The minimum payment there is $10. Okay. Paying the minimum is going to take 19 months to pay off that $150. And that's a high interest rate. So you're paying a lot more than $150. So if you add that $100 to your minimum payment of $10, now you've got $110 that you are applying to that $150 credit card. That $110 applied to that balance, it will only take 2 months for you to pay off that credit card, rather than 19 months. 2 months just with that extra $100. Now, what do we do after we pay off that credit card? We've got $110 that we use there, right? So that's $110 that we can now apply to the next credit card. The next credit card is $525. The minimum payment is $25. So you add that $110 to the $25, now you've got $135 that you're applying to that credit card. That's only $525. Rather than paying just $25 a month, and that taking you 27 months, by the way, to pay it off, you can pay off that second credit card in 6 months using the same money. You're not adding anything additional. You're just continuing with that $100 that you put in, that you committed to adding to your debt, to adding to decrease your debt. So nothing additional, the same money. That money now has paid off your second credit card in 6 months. Well, now you've got $135 there. All right, let's apply it to the third bill. The third bill is a $1,200 balance. You make a minimum payment of $50 a month. Well, all right, let's add that $135 that you were using before to the $50 that you're already used to paying. That's $185 that you are now applying to that third credit card. Before, it was going to take you 38 months to pay off that credit card. Now it's going to take you 12 months. So I think you guys get what debt stacking is now, right? That money that you were using for the prior credit cards, you're simply taking it to the next credit card and pay that full amount until it's paid down, until it's paid off. And you take that money and you go to the next credit card, and you keep doing that. You keep doing that until you're completely out of debt. All it takes is just a decision and discipline. And this works, you guys. I've done this 3 times in my lifetime, and I have paid some cars off. And I'm grateful for having this information, because it's been able to push us through some situations. But it all takes making a decision.
Real quick,
Yes.
what is being conveyed, I hope y'all understand the magnitude of this wealth of information that's being conveyed, because when you went to school, they never covered this information with you at all. They never taught you how to balance a checkbook. They never taught you how to open up a bank account. And now you're getting access to this type of information for free. Now, I want y'all to understand this. We as a nation of people, especially in our demographics, we're pre-programmed to think that we should always be on the bottom of society. No, that's not the case. Watch this. How do we break the generational curses? Let's go to Baruch chapter 3. Let's read verse 8. Going into solving doubt, right? It says, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us. This is where we get the modern term diaspora, for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments. Subject to payments. Subject to. So one of the generational curses that we're experiencing is being subjected to payments. Credit card payments, loan payments, car payments, electricity payments. These various payments that we make diminish our wealth and diminish the resources that we can leave over to our children's children. I'm going to tell you a quick story. I came across a story of a person that was a millionaire, and he was asked the question, what can I do to establish myself in order to get to the status where you are? Do you know what he said? He said, turn off your lights. People were like, what? Turn off your lights? What are you talking about? He says, what I do before I leave my house is I go to the switch and I say, okay, I'm not going to be in the bedroom. I'm not going to be in the garage. I'm not going to be here. Let me turn that switch off. And guess what? As a millionaire in a 12-bedroom house, his light bill was like $120. Do y'all understand that? Those, we would never think, you know what? I live in a house, electricity is going constantly. Uh-oh. There we go. Let me turn off the lights. So I just wanted to give y'all that thought so you could understand where Irma is coming from. If you have credit card debt, get rid of it. All right. That's what I wanted to share. I'm muting my mic. Go ahead.
No, thank you. Thank you. That's so important. You know, we need to become the lenders, not the borrowers. It's time for us to step into that, you know, so we've got to start making some decisions to improve not just, you know, ourselves, our family's future, but we can do so much more, you know, and a lot of times, like the way that I feel about that is I want to be able to, I want people to see that as a believer, God can bless us. We are not meant to be here tied to these things. We are meant to help people. And the better we are financially, the more we're able to help people. So it is important. Debt is just one of those chains that just keeps us from fulfilling our purpose. So I'm going to jump into the compounding effect. This is how our money grows. This is a very, very, this is my favorite part. I love the numbers. I love knowing and teaching people how money multiplies, how it gets multiplied, how it grows. And so this is something that is simple, and you guys, I hope will remember it. And if you need a refresher, you just need to reach out to us. James is going to be putting some links in there for you guys to reach out to us to have one-on-ones, and we can go over this information and also give you the resources to hop on those workshops, those free workshops via Zoom. For just 1 hour a day. Each Zoom is a different subject and is very, very impactful information as well. So and it's free. Yes, the compound effect of money. Okay, so the rule of 72. The rule of 72 just means that you have to remember that number, the number 72. Write it down somewhere, put it in a sticky note, put it on your table, your car, your mirror. The rule of 72 is just a number 72. What you do with the number 72 is that you divide 72 by the rate of return. So let's say you've got some money and you put it into an account and it's going to grow at a certain rate of return. In this particular example, it's 6%. That, when you divide 72 by the rate of return, that tells you the number of years that it's going to take for your money to double. And let me illustrate. 72, the number 72 divided by 6% is the rate of return. It's going to take you 12 years to double your money. It doubles every 12 years. So if you've got $10,000, let's say, you got an income tax refund, or you've got a settlement from an accident, or you've just saved up money. You've managed to save up $10,000. $10,000 at a 6% rate of return, you divide 72 by 6. It's going to take 12 years for $10,000 to become $20,000. All right. Now you've got $20,000. Well, in another 12 years, you're going to have $40,000. In another 12 years, your 40 doubles to $81,000. And you see how that grows. Every 12 years, whatever money you have there that's already grown, it's going to double. That's the compound effect. Let's look at an 8%. The number 72 divided by an 8% rate of return. You found a vehicle that's going to pay you it's going to grow your money at 8%. Well, it's going to take 9 years for your money to grow, to double. So in 9 years, you're going to have $19,000, 19,990, which is almost 20,000. In another 9 years, that almost 20,000 is going to be almost 40,000. In another 9 years, you're going to double that to $79,000, almost $80,000, and so on. At 36 years, it's going to be $159,000. Let's look at a 10% rate of return. You got that same number that never changes. What is it? 72. 72 divided by a 10% rate of return, it's going to take you 7.2 years to double your money. What does that tell you? That the rate of return is important. It's important where you put your money as well. You've got to ask questions, ask, for options, and take a look and make sure that you get the best rate of return wherever you're putting your money. 72 divided by 10% equals 7.2 years. $10,000 at a 10% rate of return. In 7 years, you'll have 19,000. In another 7, it's going to be 41,000. So in 36 years, you're going to have $309,000. And take a look at that compared to that 6%. That's a big difference. In the same amount, in 36 years, that's how much more money you'll have. Simply because of the rate of return. So always highlight that. All right, so if you save $100 and it's at a 5% interest, you made $105. You now have to pay taxes. So I'm just going to simplify this a little bit. You paid 25% in income tax. You've got to pay $1.25. So your net after tax is $103.75. All right, well, that's not bad. You made a little bit of money, 3.75. But the next thing that I want to share here is inflation. Let's not forget inflation. Inflation sneaks up on us. 3% inflation takes that $3 that we made. So now we're almost back to where we started. So that interest rate makes a huge difference. That's the real rate of return. So let me give you this illustration. Assuming that your income is $60,000 a year and you set aside 10% per month, we put it in an account that grows some interest rate.
We cannot see the screen.
You cannot see the screen. Okay, let's see, sorry. It should be here.
Have James come and turn the camera back on.
Can you guys see it now? James? James? Can you still not see it? Can you guys still not see it?
No, it's not there.
Okay, they can't see the screen.
Okay.
It says that it's there, but
How about now?
There we go.
okay.
You just have to save it. Yeah.
Okay, got it. All right. So assuming that your income is $60,000 a year and you set aside 10% into an account that's growing at some interest rate, let's take a look a little bit more on these numbers. These are more realistic, right? Because we can manage to save $500 a month. If you think about, saving $17 a day, think about the things that you spend on a daily basis. Think about the money that you can put aside on a daily basis and just let it add up to $500 a month. That seems like a doable amount. Now, you purpose your money, right? So that you can make sure you've got $500 a month to spend on your future. $17 a day. Let's cut out that coffee. Let's cut out that purchase, those unnecessary things that we don't need to get on a daily basis. Let's get what we need just to get those extra $500 a month. So a $500 a month compounding over time, and in 30 years, you're at 8% interest, you're going to have $745,000. At 10%, that same amount, you're going to have $1 million, $1.1 million. These are real numbers. This is the beauty of the compound effect of compounding interest. That's how your money grows. That's how people become millionaires. They set an amount aside and let that money grow and work for them. As we're working, the money's also working for us. Let's not just work for the money to spend it. Let's work so that money can work for us at some point. So $1.1 million at 10%. Let's talk about inflation. We say that inflation is a silent killer. And if you look at the average cost of living in the 70s, a new home in the 70s was $23,400. Gallon was 36 cents, bread 25 cents, and wages were about $9,350, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. In the 90s, homes went up to $123,000. But look at the wages. Wages, $28,000. Now today, an average home costs $535,000. But people are only making $65,000. Look at the difference. How much have homes increased? And how much have the wages increased? Not nearly as fast as the homes are costing. That's a big gap and a big difference. So let's take a look at what $100 is worth. $1. So if you have a $100 bill, in 5 years, that $100 is going to have the purchasing power of $86. That means that you're going to have in 5 years, $116 in order to buy the same amount of groceries that you can buy with $100 today. That's just in 5 years. And you don't notice it. You will not notice it. It just creeps up. 10 years. In 10 years, that purchasing power is going to go down to 74. So now you're going to have $134 to buy the same amount of groceries that you are buying today with $100. 134 is what you're going to need. In 15 years, purchasing power down to 64, inflation is going to be going up. And so now you're going to have $156 to buy the same amount of groceries that you can buy $100 with today. 20 years, you're now going to have $181 to buy the same amount of groceries that you can buy with the $100 today. That's inflation. And that's assuming a 3% inflation rate. So imagine that you're retired and you're used to having $4,000 a month for your expenses. So if you budgeted $4,000 a month in retirement for your expenses in 20 years, you're going to need to have $7,224 to be able to live the way that you planned on with $4,000 a month. Inflation is real. We've lived it. And I know you guys can remember price changes. So I'm going to switch now to taxes. We need to understand taxes and where do we put our money? So there are 3 brackets that we talk about. There's a tax now bracket. The tax now bracket is where we have our checking account, where our savings account, our CDs, our stocks, our mutual funds. Tax now just simply means that any growth that happens in any of these accounts, we're taxed now. So at the end of the year, you gotta claim that and you gotta pay taxes on it, right? That's tax now. Then we have a second bracket, which is the tax later. And a lot of us are familiar with tax later because we are familiar with 401k. 401k is where they take money out of your paycheck and you don't pay taxes on that money, but you will pay taxes when you start drawing on it in retirement. So you pay tax later. It's deferred. IRA, SEP IRA, annuities and pensions, they all work the same way. You will pay taxes later. Not now, but later. All right. Let's look at tax advantaged. Tax advantaged is where you don't pay taxes because you have already used this money. You pay taxes on money. This is like your net cash, your net money after you've paid everything, after you've paid taxes. That's the money that you have left. That money you are now putting into a Roth IRA, 529, a municipal bond, a health savings account, a life insurance policy with long-term care benefits. This is where you're putting this money now. So because you've already paid taxes on it, you do not have to pay taxes. Again, it's tax advantaged. So this is the category that we like to prioritize. It's good to have a diversified portfolio. It's good, but we always want to maximize tax advantaged category. So knowing the tax impact of your money is important to build your financial future. So the managed growth strategy is basically where do we want our money to be? We want our money to be in a place where there is growth. Your rate of return must be high enough to beat your taxes and inflation. We want safety. We want to manage our risk. We don't want to lose our money, our hard-earned money that's taken us a while to save. We want to manage our risk and preserve our principal. We want to have tax-deferred or tax-advantaged vehicles. These are the vehicles that can play a significant role in building wealth, tax advantage. And we want our money to have protection. So protecting your income, protecting your assets, it protects your life, and it also gives you protection while you're alive, right? So this in particular, this area can also give you long-term care protection, disability protection, chronic illness. These are the 4 areas where you want to prioritize having your money in. So when saving and investing, consider these important factors. So when building your future and when building a house, you need to make sure all aspects of the house, the foundation, the roof, the electrical, plumbing, interior, are working together. The same applies when building your financial future. You want to make sure that you've got a proper financial foundation so that you can start building wealth and making your money work for you. This is what's going to help you and your family. So one of the things that James mentioned is that he's going to be putting in information on how anyone that wants to have an individual financial checkup or a professional financial strategy session, he's going to put a link in there so that you guys can set up a time with us to be able to do this. We'll do this on an individual basis. It's free of charge, and we will take a look at where you are financially, what your goals are, and then we'll figure out a way to help you achieve them. If it's debt, we'll help you with that. If it's building generational wealth, then we'll help you get there. If, whatever those goals are, we can help you, and we can do that on a one-on-one basis. And I'm just going to ask one last question, and that is, will your current situation allow you to reach your goals? Think about that. Your current financial situation, is that going to allow you to reach your financial goals? Talk to us if there is if you guys want to know of a way that you can make more money to be able to reach your goals, we can also help you with that. So I'm going to turn this over now to James. This concludes my part of the presentation. Again, we're here to help in any way that we can. Just put your name and your phone number and an email address in the comments there.
No, the comments. DM me.
In DM.
Yes, DM me, or do not put it in the comments.
Don't put it in the comments.
Send it directly to my DM, or I'm going to put a form that you can complete that'll go directly to us as well. So you can definitely send us a DM. I'm also going to put a link on the file for Irma's website. In her website, you can register for a free a workshop. It happens every day from Monday to Friday. It is free. It happens at 1 p.m., at 7 p.m., and at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, except for Wednesdays. Wednesdays is at 1 p.m. Mm-hmm. And you can take those workshops as many times as you want to. After you have taken it 5 times, we will send you a certificate. That way you can hang it up, and you can show it to your kids and to your family that you have taken the steps to become financially secure, and you have learned how to do so. You can take those workshops every single week. There are different presenters every week, so they bring different dynamics to the presentation. So it's really good help for families. You can take it as a family. You can take it with your spouse. You can bring your kids. So that way you can start teaching your kids now, so they don't have to make the same mistakes that we made, because we didn't have that information. So parents that are educated in finances, they'll educate their kids in finances, so they don't have to make the same mistake. This is a blessing. Just like we pass on the blessing of the knowledge of the Most High, the blessing of the knowledge of the word, we also now bring in wisdom and how to navigate this world, and how to make it work for us. Yeah. Not us work for it. Yes. But make it work for us.
And if I may, let me interject with a few scriptures to emphasize that point. Because a lot of times we assume that because we're talking about finances, that there's no biblical base for that conversation, when in reality there is. When you read Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 12, it says, "For wisdom is a defense, and money is a defense. Meaning what? Imagine you have a military coming to the walls to destroy the city. Money is that wall that you have that'll block out that enemy from coming in. Now, does that say that you have to have a love of money? No. But the money is a defense to protect you from those times where you have financial need. You understand? So here's another thing that we want to look at, right? For example, our forefather Abraham, the father of the faith. What does the Bible say about him? Let's go to Sirach or Ecclesiasticus chapter 44, verse 1. It says, "Let us now praise famous men." Is Abraham a famous man? Yes. "And our fathers that begat us." Is Abraham one of our forefathers? Yes. Watch this. Verse 5. "Such as found out musical tunes and recited verses in writing." Verse 6. Rich men furnished with ability, living peaceable in their habitations." So Abraham was not only a wise man, but he was also a rich man. Watch this. Verse 19 rather. "Abraham was a great father of many people. In glory was there none like unto him, who kept the law of the Most High, and was in covenant with him. He established the covenant in his flesh, and when he was proved, he was found faithful." So we need to be faithful to our friends, faithful to our family, by acquiring more knowledge and understanding on how we can benefit ourselves and benefit one another. One more point I want to make. When I was younger, right, I had an interest in acquiring the skills of riding a motorcycle. Do you know I dedicated myself to watching just YouTube videos for 4 months straight? And after that 4 months of watching YouTube videos and instructional videos, I learned myself how to ride a motorcycle. So the brother James, through his ministry, as well as Irma and Paula, they're offering you information for free. So what can you lose in gaining information and insight, especially when the information is provided at no cost? You see? So I hope this presentation is rewarding for you all, and that you gain insight and grow in wisdom. That's the kind of 2 cents that I wanted to leave off in that conversation. Go ahead, James. You can continue.
We would like now to have Paula present a couple of illustrations on some of the key financial products that we have, strategies. One is an index universal life, which with catch value and also with living benefits. The one critical thing that we most understand is that this information has been hidden from minorities for a long time. But you don't have to have any special skills, any special kind of income to have access or to be able to participate on this. You can start building your financial house with as little as $100, $150 a month. You just have to start somewhere and start building your financial house. And if you start today, and that's the one thing the finances does. Finances do not wait. They don't care about time. They continue. And the good thing for us is the longer we have to save, the longer we're able to compound the things that we are saving. So Paula is going to give you a quick presentation on 2 products. One is the IUL, and the second one is an index annuity. Index annuity is also how we can create income for life from a 401k or and this is for people that might be planning to retire in the next 10 years and they have a 401k. You can have a 401k from a
old job that is still lingering around, and or from the new job, and you should plan on moving your 401k to an index annuity about 5 to 10 years before, so you can have it grow and protect it. You don't want to have your money in the market if you're planning to retire in the next 10 years, because the market could crash and then your money is gone, and a 401k becomes a 201. That means that half of your money could be gone overnight with the market crash. And Paola is going to explain how the protection that an IUL and or an index annuity brings from market losses. This is the important part. Protect yourself not only, as Irma explained, from paying so much taxes as your retired comes, but also protecting yourself from market losses. So you don't want your money in a place where a market could crash, and now instead of working into age 65, you now have to work into age 80, because all of the things that you build up, they might crash because the market crashed, like it crashed in 2008, like it almost crashed in during the pandemic. So we have to be careful where our money is, especially if you're close to retirement. If you're close to retirement, you listen carefully. If you have a parent, you have a grandparent that is close to retirement, you want to have their 401k. You want to have it in an index annuity. Index annuity will help you protect your money, will help you protect it from market losses. So I'm gonna introduce now Paula. Paula, are you ready?
Yes, can you hear me?
See, Paula's there. Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. Please, if you want to share your screen, then go ahead and share your screen, and then the host will move you to the big screen. There you are. Your camera is sideways.
Okay.
There you go. That's better.
I wanted to be sideways so it can be showing the full screen. Or
Okay, perfect. That's fine. Go ahead.
but are you guys gonna see it sideways?
I see it. I don't know if everybody, are you guys able to see it?
Okay. There you go. Okay.
That's good.
Okay, great. All right, thank you so much, Irma and James, for this introduction. It was a great presentation from Irma. And today I just want to share with you a little bit about our flagship product. I know on the presentation that Irma shared, she shared something that is really important whenever you're saving your money for retirement, is that you want to have growth, you want to have safety on the money, make sure you're not going to lose it, have tax advantage and protection. And this specific product gives you all those 4 cornerstones. It gives you growth, safety, and tax advantage and protection. Now, on the growth, your money is going to be growing. You know, it's not in the market, but it's reflecting the market. So it's reflecting the S&P, the Euro stock, and the Hang Seng. Now, the good thing about this, like James shared, is that you can put as little as money as you want, as $50, $100, or as much as you want. You can start $100, $200, $500, $1,000, even a lump sum of, let's say you want to put $10,000. Okay, and one of the things that before we used to have a cap of 13%. For example, if the market did 20, the maximum that you can get is 13. But now this changed a couple weeks ago. Now there is no cap anymore. There is no maximum growth that you can receive on your money. Now it's on cap. So for example, if the market does 20%, you will receive 20%. If it does 15, you will receive 15. But in return, you're going to have the safety that is going to avoid loss in case of the market drops. That's what Arlie was sharing about the 401k. If the market drops, you can lose 40, 20% of your money. For example, in 2008, a lot of people that were ready to retire, they couldn't retire anymore because they had to wait for the money to grow back to what they have lost. Does that make sense? So that's why it's really important to have safety. Make sure you're not going to lose your money, your principal, and also the growth that you have gained. So you have both. You have safety and growth. And the third is you have tax-free loans, tax-free withdrawals, tax-deferred earnings, and a tax-free death benefit. Okay, so you have protection. So a lot of people put as much money as they can. Why? Because they're not going to lose any money. If the market drops, they know they have that peace of mind that, if the market goes negative 50, just your money stays there and you get 0.75. It's like a little staircase. You never go down. And you have the tax advantage, which is you're not going to pay any taxes whenever you're ready to retire. That is powerful. Imagine that you have, an IRA, 401k, you work so hard, to save your $1 million, and at the end you have to pay taxes. 20, 30% of tax. Here, you don't have to pay any taxes. It's tax-free. Tax-free withdrawals. How amazing is that? So that's why a lot of people, if you utilize this product properly, you want to put as much as you can, so it can grow. I'm going to show you more illustrations in a little bit. And then you have protection, because as Irma was sharing in the presentation, in case, something happens as you're building up your wealth, as you're reducing the responsibilities. What if you have a critical illness? You have a heart attack, stroke, heart attack. You want to have proper protection so you don't use your savings. You don't use the money that you have grown. You can use the insurance money. Does that make sense? So there's, for example, if you have $500,000 of protection and you have a stroke or a heart attack, you can use your $500,000 while you're alive. And you can use that for your care. You accelerate the death benefit in case of a critical illness, chronic or terminal. And that's very powerful. I actually recently just I helped a client about 2 years ago. He was only paying, $100, and he decided to get a low coverage, only $100,000. And he got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer 2 years later. Nobody would have thought, he was really healthy back then, 2 years. And the company was able to accelerate him $75,000 of the death benefit tax-free. So he has that peace of mind. If something happens, he doesn't have to work, pay the bills. I'm going to pay the bills. Whenever you have that critical illness, a lot of people, they don't have that luxury. They have to keep on working. And if you have something like this, proper protection, then you can use your death benefit, okay? Now it also has long-term care. It's a rider that you add to your life policy. And the long-term care is if you're not able to do 2 out of 6 daily activities, you can also use your death benefit. Every month you can get 2% for your care. So for example, if you have $500,000 coverage, you can get $10,000 every month for your care. Now, a lot of people, they don't really want to go in a nursing home, or they want to stay at home. They want to receive care at home. And this policy allows you to do that. You can even, they will give you the $10,000 every month, and you decide, how you use that money. You can pay your relatives to take care of you, a nurse. You can go back home if you're from another country, right? You want to receive care somewhere else. With this policy, you have options. And then it has the funeral concierge service, which is Everest. If something were to happen to you, you don't have to worry about how is, you write down your wishes and you just call Everest. And they give your family full support on burial, on cremation, whatever your wishes are. They take care of everything. So this is called Index Universal Life, and it has 4 cornerstones, which is growth, safety, tax advantage, and protection. Now I'm going to show you some real examples or illustrations, and you can use it for anyone. And I'm going to do different ages. The first one is a newborn baby, right? A 1-year-old. Let's say that you want to start saving for your kids' college. I have 2 kids myself. Whenever they were born, I started saving them, right away. Since they were 0 years old, I started this plan for them. Now, let's say that you start saving $400 per month. Now, this one you can start with as little as $87. So don't think that it's just $400 a month. It's just an illustration. Okay. Now, by 18, you would have put only $122,000, but the kid will have $204 for college. Now, if they decide, oh, I don't want to go to college, you're the owner of this policy. So you decide if you want to give them this policy or you want to keep it. Also, what if they get grants or scholarships? Then you don't have to use this money. Let's say now they graduated, they started working, they can continue. They can let it grow. And by age 30, they will have $413,000. That's powerful. How many 30-year-olds do you know that have almost $500,000? Why? Because their parents started for them when they were 0. A lot of us don't have this kind of money because our parents didn't start this for us, because they probably didn't know, right? But now you know that even if it's not $400 a month, you can start with $200, $100, something. Something is better than nothing, right? Now, when they're 40, they're going to have $749,000. And remember, you stop paying at age 18. You only contributed for 18 years. And that money just keeps on growing. When they're 40, they're going to have $749,000 tax-free. And at 45, they're going to have $1 million. So that's $1 million baby right there. 45 years of age, you only put 122 and they have $1 million. That's the power of compound interest. That's the power of starting early. And knowledge. I mean, I believe all of this should be taught in schools. Unfortunately, they don't teach this. Another example is a 20-year-old. Let's say that your parents didn't start saving for you, but now you have a job, you can start saving. I mean, I don't know if you know a lot of 20-year-olds. All they do is sometimes they just waste their money on things that they don't need. Eat Now, Starbucks, Amazon, right? And let's say they start with $400, the same, $400 a month. Ideal, you want to do 1,000 or a maximum of 3,800. It depends, right? I mean, a 20-year-old, they don't really have a lot of responsibilities. That's whenever you have to use as much, use your money wisely, be disciplined, and take action. A lot of us, they just want direction. A lot of 20-year-olds, if you're not 20, you wish that somebody would have told you, hey, you need to save your money. As whenever you have to start working, you need to start saving, right? A lot of parents, or we don't really teach financial education at home, or we don't talk about it at home. They just go work, pay the bills, maybe get a brand new car, pay $400 a month, where they can use their money wisely. Instead of buying a new car, buy a used car, right? And save something for your retirement, for your future, because you don't want to be working all your life. You want to prepare. Now that you're healthy, you want to prepare for your golden years. Now, this person started saving $1,160 per month, and at 30, they're going to have $151. Now, at 30, they can use that money for a down payment for a home. Right? They can use that for anything. You don't have to wait till you're 65 to get access the money. You can access it before. There is no penalty. It's not like a 401k. You have to wait till you're 59 and a half. That's the beauty about these policies. Like, even in 2 years, 3 years, you can access the money if you needed to. right? If you have a good opportunity, why not? It's your money, you can use it. Now at 40, this person saved 278 and they have 454,000. At 50, they have $1 million. You see? So that's the beauty of starting saving early. Of course, the less time you have, the more you have to save, to get to your $1 million. At 30, you have to save a little bit more, right? 1,181. You can start with as little as 591. Now, these illustrations, that's why we have to do your own personal financial strategy to see, do a financial checkup, just like a doctor. Whenever you go to the doctor, they don't just tell you, okay, this is what's wrong with you. This is just take this. No, they exactly do blood and urine. They ask questions to give you the right solution for you. It's the same as us. Okay. And just, you get the point on how that works. Now, this one is really important. For me, I do this personal financial strategy at least every 3 months. Every 3 months, I want to do a financial checkup of myself. I want to see how I'm doing, if I'm growing. You want to make sure your debts decrease, your assets increase, right? How are your monthly expenses? Where is your money going? Are you spending too much eating out? What are the things every month you should check? Do a check on yourself. And we have a great platform. Okay, that's our focus is teaching. We want to educate, and we don't just focus on one product. That's why there's no one product fits all. That's why it's really important to make an appointment, sit down with either one of us, and we can see what is the right solution for you. Now, this one is an index annuity. This is somebody that is already about to retire. They already built up their wealth. They already started working for, let's say that you have a 401k, that you work at a job and you have $150,000. This is an example of a 50-year-old that has $150,000 and they want to retire at 67. So they want to let the money grow. Now, if an annuity, you put a lump sum of money and you let it grow. In this scenario, this client will receive 8% compounded every year for the next 10 years. Guaranteed growth every year. After 10 years, he will have at least $420,000. Now, he decides when does he want to retire. The longer he waits, the more he will receive. If he retires at 67, he will get $24,000 for life. An annuity is kind of like a pension. A self-pension that you do. Like you get income for life for as long as you live. So at 67, he'll receive $24,000. Or if he waits 69, $26,000, and 71, $28,000. The longer you wait, the more you receive per year. Okay, and this is just one product, but we run illustrations with the different providers, and we see which company gives the most income for life based on the amount that you have. Okay, now I helped a client about a year ago, and he wanted only to wait 1 year. He was like, I'm ready to retire next year. And he put a lump sum of money, and then that turned into income every year. So that's a little bit of annuities. Now, this is another example of somebody that's 60 years old, and he puts $200,000 and wants to retire in 7 years at 67. Okay. Now at 67, he has a death benefit of $365, and he can cash out $351 if he wanted to. But if he wants to receive income for life, it'll show in the next illustration how much he can receive. But as you can see, we have great products. We represent over 100 companies, and we're very competitive. So whatever situation you have, we can help you. So that's what I wanted to share, James. I know we're short on time, and it's been a long presentation. Thank you guys for being here, for listening in, and our goal is to educate 30 million families by the year 2030. Thank you.
Awesome.
I have a question before you finish. Let's say let's say that you marry, and one of the persons is on life before the other. Does that other person continue to receive income for life?
Yes. That's something that
So
you
what I mean,
can do
everybody understands that
whenever you do an
whenever you set up your
application.
policy, you can make it where. Go ahead.
Yes, when you set up your policy, you can make it as if something happens to you, your wife will still continue to receive that income for life.
This is information that is very valuable for us family. So I'm gonna close with a little bit of information, and then we can start having some questions, and we'll try to answer as best as possible. Some answers we have to do in private. Some answers we can do through TikTok. So let's say they took advantage of everything that Irma was teaching you, and also let's say they took advantage of everything that Irma was teaching you, and also the power was teaching financial wealth for your family. You started building your foundation. You started building your investment. You now save for a home, and you have things that you can live your family. So now we're going to discuss estate planning, which is very, very, very important. I have a little bit of a issue with my internet. If you can hear me properly, please press 1. Put 1 on the shot so I can make sure that you're hearing me. If you can hear me properly, please.
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Type
I
1 on the
apologize.
chat.
My internet had got a little choppy, so
Okay.
I apologize. Go ahead. Continue.
Oh, perfect. How can I'm coming across now? Can you hear me well? Okay, perfect.
Yes.
So estate planning is something that is very important. As you have built your financial house, you purchase a home, you have cars, you have things, wealth that you have started to create for your family. Even a business, anything there that you have built for your family, you have land, you have things that you built for your family into generations to come. Now you need to protect that from the government, and you need to protect that from people that want to come and take it from your family. Like if you have any debt, they're still there, or if you have any tax liens, or if you have things that can come and disrupt your state and create problems when you're alive if you don't have a good estate in place. This we don't know when that could be called. We just know their life happens, and at any time we can be called. It could be an accident, it could be a sickness, it can be an aggravated assault, it could be anything that can take a life. What we can do to protect our family and protect the things that we have built, have a strong estate planning. That way you can avoid probate court. I don't know if you guys
Hey,
are
hey,
familiar
brother,
with probate
the
court.
audio,
Probate
the
courts.
audio is breaking up. The audio on your end is breaking up. Could you drop down and come back up? Could you drop down and come back up? Maybe that'll fix it.
Will do. Will
There's a
do.
lot of static. All right, go ahead.
How about now? Mic check.
Yeah, that's better. Go ahead.
Perfect. So we are. I was discussing probate or estate planning. The one thing that we want to avoid at all costs, and you want your family, your kids, to avoid is probate court. You do not want the court and the government to decide what's going to happen with your state, with everything that you built. You do not want to leave that in the hands of the state. You want to have all the things that you built. Whoever you want to live it to, you want to be able to decide that on your own. You want to be able to leave that on your trust or on your will, and specifically write how you want things to happen after you are no longer here. You do not want to wait until the last minute to figure out who is going to have what in your family. You don't want to have you don't want to wait till the last minute to figure out who's going to get you home, who's going to have access to your insurance, who's going to have access to your savings or to your bank accounts or to your safety deposit box in the bank. There are a lot of things that you have and that you have been accumulated through the years that if you do not properly put it in estate planning fashion, you could lose all the things that you work for to probate court. Let's say that you have creditors that are coming after your state. Their court could possibly dissolve your state just to pay debt. Your kids could fight between each other and between other family members for your state, and they will spend a lot of money in legal fees just to come after your state. And that disrupts families, disrupt the flow. So you do not want to leave that to chance. Also, probate courts could take between 3 and 14 months to make a decision on your state. Meanwhile, your family is not being taken care of. You have no control of the outcomes in probate court. You have to have a lawyer to help you. Not only you have to have a lawyer to help you, you need a lawyer that is savvy and understands probate court. That means you have to spend a lot of money for or your kids or your spouse, or have to spend a lot of money to be able to have access to the things that you wanted to live for them. It's very stressful. If you have minor kids, and you want your kids to be left with a particular parent, if you want to have them to have custody to a particular family member, you also can put that in your will. You don't want, if you don't have a will, if you have not decided who is going to take over your kids in case something catastrophic happens to you, listen very carefully. Most states have adopted a policy that the kids will be picked up by social worker, put in a foster home, into the court decides which of your family member is fit to raise your kids. And it could take 3 to 14 months to 16 months, depending on how busy the court is, to decide who of your family member is going to be able to take care of your kids. Meanwhile, they are being placed with a stranger, with a foster home that is only receiving these kids because they're making some money, And you guys have heard the nightmares that happen in foster homes. So you do not want the government to decide where your kids go. You want to have a good estate planning where you decide where your kids goes in case of an unforeseeable happen. You also want to have a good power of attorney, a medical power of attorney, and a financial power of attorney. This also will help in case you get into an accident and you're in a coma, or you have an incident where you are not able to make decisions for yourself. You want to have someone that you trust be able to make financial decisions for you or medical decisions for you. Because if you're in the hospital for 6 or 8 months, your bills are still due. You still have to pay bills. You still have to be able to file your policy. Let's say you have an IUL, and you want to file your disability, so you can get living benefit. Someone has to do that for you. If you are disabled, if you're in the ICU, or if you're in long-term care rehab, and you're not able to do this thing, someone has to do that for you. And the last thing that you want to do is be in that situation, and then no one is able to make those decisions for you. No one is able to pay your credit cards, or no one is able to pay your mortgage, or no one is able to pay for your kids' food or light or water. And now these things become a huge problem for your family because you did not prepare properly by having a proper estate planning. Now, estate planning could be very expensive if you don't have the right plan. So we have been able to partner with the company. They have made it very affordable for families to have a complete estate planning. Not only have they made it very affordable, their plan starts from $1,100 to $1,400 for a very complete plan for non-complex families. And they have made it even where you can qualify for finances and just pay $51 a month. Very simple. And with that, you can get a trust where you can put property, you can assign your life insurance to the trust. I mean, your kids, the beneficiaries. You can have your will. You can have your estate planning. Your power of attorney for your financials and your medical. You can have all these things in place. You can put them in your safe deposit box. You can save it where in case anything unforeseeable happen, and we don't know whether it could happen or not, your family is taken care of. They don't have to deal with court. They don't have to fight between each other because you have made a decision when you were alive, when you were able to make a decision, how things that you built are going to be distributed to your family. They don't have to spend all this money in court or fighting. So it's very important that you protect all the things that you have built through having the proper estate planning. It's a huge foundation. It's a huge protection for the things that you have built. So if you want to know more about estate planning, please let us know. We have sent you a message to your DM, and there's a website there that you can set up an appointment. We will discuss that with you more as part of your personal financial strategy, and we can go in detail. We spend time with you. We also will register you for the workshops that are free. It's only 45 minutes. That means once a day, all you have to do is skip one TV show, or if you don't watch TV, skip one activity. And once a day for 45 minutes at 1 p.m., 7 p.m., or 9 p.m., you can participate in a financial workshop that is going to help you change your life. And it's going to help you change your kids' life. And of course, when you are educated, then all those people around you can benefit from your education, can benefit from your knowledge. They can see how you are building your foundation, and they can also ask you for help. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. If you want to come up and ask specific questions, we are available now to answer questions.
So keep in mind, as we read earlier, wisdom is a defense and money is a defense. When you examine the book of Sirach, chapter 5, verse 15, it says, "Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small." So learning this information is beneficial for you to the best of your ability. Try to gain as much access to how we can establish ourselves and break these generational curses of poverty that impact our communities. Also, let's go to Sirach chapter 6. Sirach chapter 6, verse 18. It says, "My son, gather instruction from thy youth up." Gather instruction from thy youth up. How many of us could have benefited by learning this information when we were in our 20s, our 30s, our 40s, our 50s? You're never too old to learn new information, right? Especially if it can benefit you. Once again, it says, "My son, gather instruction from thy youth up, so shalt thou find wisdom till thine old age." So our forefathers already had a wise mind in writing things down, documenting things down, setting stuff up in advance. So just in case something comes up, you're covered. All right. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to hit the guest icon. We'll allow about another 10 minutes or so for questions, comments, or concerns. Feel free to hit the guest icon and come up and ask your question.
While we're waiting for any guests to come up, we have stories that where families, combined families, or families they have adopted a child, they build a business and they marry and they do well, and then one of the person is unalive and the person did not leave a will, did not leave the information to protect that child, and the parent that was absent for the life, they realized that person was not properly protected, and they come back and they claim custody of the biological child. And since that biological child was named or was protected to receive the funds or whatever that the inheritance the parent left, now that spouse that was there the entire time with the child has been left with nothing, because the parent that was not there for a long time, they now claim the child, and by claiming the child, they claim the child's inheritance. So it is important for we to protect our families, for we to protect our spouse, for we to protect our kids. We need to make sure that our wishes, what we want to happen, is documented, is accessible when it's needed, and in the event that anything happened to you, that these things are in place, so what you have worked so hard for can rightfully go to your family, can rightfully go to your kids without them fighting among themselves. You do not want your kids to be separated, your grandkids to be separated, and nephews not even knowing each other because the parents fought for an inheritance. When you can clearly just leave it documented how you want things to happen, and they don't have to fight about it. Everyone received the inheritance from the parents, and you can stipulate exactly how you want things to happen. Also, in one of the benefits there a IUL has is a concierge service. It's a concierge service. You can, once you have an IUL, you can talk to your concierge agent, and you can plan anything there that you want to happen after you pass, exactly how you want to happen. That way, no one later can come and do things that you did not want to happen. So these are things that you can take control of and have a plan for your future. You can have control. I know for the most part, we felt out of control. But now you can have control of your finances, you can have control of your future, you can have control of the things that you live to your kids and to your grandkids. It's all in your hands, and we can help.
I think we have one question in the chat. What is a good age to start estate planning?
At a good age to start estate planning is anytime you have any kids, anytime you have any assets, if you have a home, anything that you must protect, that's the time to start estate planning. Anything that you want to pass on in an event there something catastrophic happens, that's when you want to start your estate planning. Anytime that you have built, if you have an IUL, you want that to go into your trust, and you want to make your kids beneficiaries, and you want to make sure that they equally get a particular amount. That's part of your estate planning. So you want to have estate planning the moment that you understand that you have things to protect from the government and things to protect from creditors and things that you don't want your kids fighting. So if you have any kids, if you have a home, if you have a 401k, if you have anything that you want to protect and you want to pass on to your kids, you need to start your estate planning. So if you have that now, if you don't have it, it is one of the most important foundational things that you must do. It's not a luxury. Estate planning is not a luxury. It's not something it's something fancy to do. This is an important thing to do to protect your family and to protect your kids. Hello, James.
Shalom.
Hello, brother.
I have one question about the I forget what it's called, but like the accounts and stuff that you use for saving and investment. I think it was like SPF 500 or something like that. So with those type of accounts, where does the money that is added onto what you invest or what you save, like where does that come from, and what is the likelihood of like it decreasing or going away because the economy is bad or something like that? Does that make sense? I always wonder about like
it makes total sense.
Okay.
That's a really good question. That's a really good question. So let's compare an index universal annuity. I'm sorry, an index universal life with a 401k, right? Which is typically what you have at home, or let's say that you have an RA. So those are not protected by a market crash. So if you've been working hard for a company and they have been matching your contribution and the market crash, your money can be lost in part or completely, depending on how bad the market is. So that's when your money is in the open market. So now when you decide to do a index annuity or an index universal life, your money is mirroring the market, but it's not in the market. And index universal gives you a protection of a guarantee of 0.075% return. That means you never go below zero. That means you never lose your principal and you never lose the gain that you made to that point. So if the market does 20%, you do 20%. If the market does negative 20%, then you do at least 0.075%. That means that you're not at risk of losing your principal of the gain that you made to that point. And when the market returns, your principal and your gains are already there to continue to grow. Plus, of course, you pay no taxes with a withdrawal and or when you take loans for yourself. And that's the beauty about taking loans out of your own policies. You can pay it back, or you don't have to pay it back, but you don't pay any taxes on loans. Does that answer your question, James?
Yes, it does.
That was a really good question.
Thank you.
If you have a 401k and the company is contributing, then we always recommend to only contribute what the companies contribute, but or suggest. But but an IUL is independent from your company, something that you control. You can put money into your IUL. Not only do you control it, you also can take loans against your own cash value, depending on how you fund your IUL. If you fund it with a small monthly payments, after 3 years, you can borrow against your own fund in case you have an opportunity to buy a home. You need to do a down payment, or you want to buy some land. You can borrow against your own cash advance. Or if you have an IUL that you set up for your child, by the time they're 18, you can borrow funds for college. By the time they're about 23, they can borrow from their own cash advance to buy a car. And by the time they are 30, they can also borrow from their own cash value to have a down payment on a home. And now they are borrowing from themselves. They're no longer getting into so much debt. They can borrow from themselves and they can pay back to themselves, meaning that you are now becoming your own bank. Every time you are putting money in your cash value under your IUL, you start to become your own bank, and you can borrow against your own bank and pay it back to yourself. And the minimum interest you pay back and the loan is 2.75, and 2% of that 0.75 goes directly to you because you are the bank.
Also, another thing that he was saying, if the market drops or if the company goes bankrupt, right? That was one of your questions, James. Just like the bank is, cover your money is protected, FDIC secure, the same. The company also has insurance in case the company goes bankrupt, things like that. But it's been around for 100 years. It has passed many World War II, recession, so it's really unlikely for the company to go bankrupt or for you to, your money to be lost. And of course, you have a contract you sign, and it's all in writing. So that's one of what I wanted to share as well.
So we have about 5 more minutes. If you have contact information that you could provide also for the people that are listening, please feel free to do so. How can they reach out to you?
We have our website. It's WSB, and I'm going to put it in the chat again. It's WSB financialliteracy.com. And I'm gonna put it on the chat. It's W S as in Sam, B as in boy, financialliteracy.com. And there you can do 3 things in the website. You can set up a appointment for a personal financial strategy. This is free. We will take the time with you to map out your goal, and we will give you an illustration, and you can make a decision on how you want to do so. You can also register for free workshops, and we also have a free financial ebook. It's a link that you can just download to your phone, and you can start reading. And this has a lot of good information that you can start implementing in your family and in your finances as well. So hopefully we can stop by again in a few more weeks. And if you have any more questions, and if you want to invite a family member, if you want to invite other brothers and sisters that want to learn more, please give in our website. And if we, whenever our brother from Forefront want us to return, we will return. We will be happy to return and continue to share information with you. You can ask, you can contact him as well. He has my information as well. He has my cell phone as well. So he can, you can reach out to him and he can give you my information, or you can give him your information and reach out to me. So we are willing to help. We have a team that can help you in any state. Doesn't matter what state you live, we will be able to help you. So thank you so much Frontline for bringing this information forward to the community, and for always being available to teach the community and help break this change.
All praises to the Most High. You've just listened to another discussion on the Forefront Radio. We appreciate everyone that has joined. We appreciate all our followers, all our subscribers. Keep in mind, this is a listener-supported podcast. We appreciate all of us that contribute to the Forefront Radio. If you desire to contribute, feel free to message us on Cash App and send your contribution. It is APHIELLEVI. You can forward any future questions that you have towards me or towards James 126 Ministry, and they can gladly answer your questions. Remember, this is not a get rich quick type of scenario. Keep in mind, in order to establish yourselves, you have to have discipline. Discipline is the key in establishing yourself, a future for yourself and for your children. So thank you so much for joining. You can find a copy of this episode available on our YouTube channel, which is the Forefront Radio 2.0. Also, we'll air this episode on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and many other podcast platforms. Thank you for joining on the Forefront Radio. And that we say shalom and peace to the 12 tribes of Israel.